For those of you who are just coming across my channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Holly. For those of you who have been watching, you probably already know that I recently started my sleeve. My tripod won't stop wiggling. I don't know why. What are you doing? I recently got tattooed and everyone wanted to know the story behind it, where the inspiration came from. Oh, it's this one, by the way. I just thought, why not make a video about all of my tattoos and my piercings? So I'm just gonna get started and go through this in chronological order. I might scatter in a couple embarrassing selfies here and there as well. In total, I have 4 tattoos and 8 piercings, if you don't count stretching. If you want to count stretching, then I guess I have 10. So, of course, the first piercing I got was my singles. I honestly don't remember how old I was, but I did go to Claire's. On the pain scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it as a 1. It really did not bother me at all. And then at some point, I got my doubles done. I then pierced my cartilage, 3 total. The cartilage piercings I would rate at about a 4, since I was doing it with a large safety pin and like an apple. You know, classic Parent Trap style, of course. You can't go wrong. I've got scar tissue on basically all of them, which probably means I didn't do it right. I don't know. I had my friend pierce my nose in, I think, sophomore year of high school. I think it was around 2008. Did it pretty low, and it was kind of angled funny, so all of my jewelry just sat really funny, and I still really loved the piercing, but it was so obvious that it was an at-home piercing. Of course, I did all of these piercings without my parents' permission. I don't know. I was a little rebel. I just remember my dad saying I looked like Christina Aguilera. Like that was supposed to be an insult. Thank you, Dad. The nose piercing was extremely painful. I would rate it at an 8. Definitely my most painful piercing. Right around the time that I got my nose done, I started to stretch my earlobes. I actually had a very practical reason as well as like the aesthetic reason, but anytime I wore earrings, my ears got really itchy, really agitated, and so I heard that stretched lobes tended to be much more comfortable, and that was absolutely true. So I started stretching. I stretched very quickly. I mean, I think I sized up every 2 weeks, which you're supposed to wait like 6 weeks, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Don't quote me on this. I am not the expert, but I ended up stretching and I got up to a 00 at the largest, and I rocked the 00 to the 0 size range until 2013. So again, I got a solid 5 years out of it before I started to size down again. Right around 2012, 2013, I actually ended up taking most of my piercings out, and I just went for a cleaner look. So between 2013 and 2015, I started to buy smaller earrings and wear no earrings, and after about 2 years of that, I realized that my lobes are absolutely not gonna get any smaller. So this is what they look like now. These are my all-time favorite earrings. My friend made these. Her company is called Create Laser. I will link them below. She uses really lightweight wood, and that's kind of the thing that people who have stretched lobes can absolutely understand where I'm coming from, but I can't wear heavy things, otherwise my ears look way too stretchy and really gross and really obvious. These earrings are lightweight enough that no one really notices, and then when I'm not wearing my earrings, my lobes look almost normal. Not quite in that cat butthole region that stretched lobed individuals know about, I'm sure. Stretching the lobes, I would list at about a 7 in the pain range. Of course, some instances were very painful and some instances were much less painful. But all in all, having stretched lobes has allowed me to wear earrings that don't agitate me. So, yay. I still come out on top, even though my lobes are a little funny looking. turned 18 years old at the end of 2009, and on my 18th birthday, I went and got my first tattoo. And it's this guy. Whee! I am a total animal lover. My dog Stewie did pass away last year, unfortunately. Rest in peace. But I wanted to get a tattoo for him, and as a representation of my love for animals, this was something that I knew would never go away, and it surely has not. I went to St. Sabrina's in Minneapolis. I want some paw prints, and then a blue swirl. And I have no idea where that idea came from, but I've always kind of enjoyed swirly things. Especially 18-year-old Holly loved swirls. In hindsight, is getting a tattoo on your 18th birthday a smart move? No, not really. It was very painful. It is still to this day my most painful tattoo. Of course, right on the foot, especially right on the bone region, it gets very, very painful. Actually, just the whole thing really, really hurt. And when you're going through that much pain, granted, the appointment only lasted about an hour, but even still, I was in an exceptional amount of pain, and then it was very sore afterwards. My birthday is in December, so it was really cold out and snowy, and that did not help either. So pain scale, I would rate it as a 9. I still love the tattoo to this day. Granted, it is not the style of tattoo that I would choose now, but I love it. In my opinion, tattoos are a way of honoring who you were at that time. And it's okay for you to change, it's okay for your styles to change. But this is what I wanted when I was 18, and I still look at it and smile every time I see it. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. And now I am 18. I am a free bird. I can do whatever I want. So a few weeks later, I went and I got a piercing. I did my anti-brow. I would rate it as a 4. As far as the pain scale. Definitely my favorite piercing I've ever had. I loved it. Again, I went to St. Sabrina's and was well worth the money because it was placed kind of in alignment with my cheekbone. So it felt very feminine, felt very flattering, and really unique. I miss it still, and I actually still have the jewelry because I keep telling myself I'll get it redone. But I don't know. I'm enjoying this clean face right now. The next body modification I had was this tattoo. And you might say, Holly, you don't have a tattoo there. Well, it is there. You can kind of see it, but I actually had it removed. And I am going to be making a video all about the tattoo removal, but just to tell the full story of this tattoo. Again, I was 18, still in high school, and my friend got tattooed by a friend of hers who was practicing, and she gave me this dude's number, and it turned out to be his roommate. He said his roommate needed practice tattooing and that I could have a free tattoo. And of course, naive 18-year-old me said, I can't wait, I'm totally gonna get a tattoo. It was an idea I had for a long time. It's actually the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer was adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous, but that is not where I learned it from. That has nothing to do with this tattoo, which is part of the reason why I had it removed, but it wasn't at the same time. I grew up with that poem or prayer. It was just something we had, and I grew up utilizing that as a coping mechanism through hard times, and he just Sharpies the words on and tattooed over it. As far as the pain goes, this was my least painful tattoo, probably because he, was very light-handed. He was a new tattooer. So I would rate it as a 2. It took about an hour. I instantly noticed it was crooked. So about a week later, I went back and had him add these squiggle lines into it. Then it just wasn't what I wanted. So it's not the concept of the tattoo that I wanted removed, it was the fact that it didn't fit on my arm properly and it was crooked. It turned out that the roommate, the guy who had got me the appointment, he actually paid for the tattoo and was expecting me to date him. Of course, again, naive little 18-year-old me. And the biggest question I get asked as far as this tattoo goes, with me not liking it for the, I don't know, 6 years that I had it, there was not an ounce of regret. Especially after having it removed, I'm so okay with the fact that I went through the entire experience. It really does not bother me or make me feel badly in any way. I like to live an adventurous life. I enjoy having stories to tell. No regrets. I just happen to not like how it looked. Simple as that. I didn't pay for it in the first place, so it didn't really bother me to pay for it to get removed. And I'm not going to go into any more detail on that since I'm going to be sharing with you some footage of the appointments and talk you through the entire process of getting my tattoo removed. So stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to get notified of when I upload that, because it'll be really soon. It wasn't until 2012 that I got my next tattoo, which is my Lord of the Rings tattoo. And the thing that I really love is that I woke up that day and said, I really want to go get a Lord of the Rings tattoo. So I figured out what I wanted and then walked into about 3 tattoo shops until I finally found an opening that I could just walk in for. I went to the ink lab in Minneapolis. Again, it was about an hour-long tattoo. I'm gonna rate it at a 7 to 8 as far as the pain goes, because, you know, some of it is on my shoulder blade. This is my Lord of the Rings tattoo. I absolutely love it still to this day. It's in Elvish, and then next to it I added the leaf of Lorien. I wanted some imagery from the movie because it is the movie, not necessarily the books, that I resonate with the most. I have read the books, but they are hard to get through. It says, "Not all those who wander are lost," which is part of a poem in the Fellowship of the Ring. It's a quote that's really blown up, but I don't think a lot of people know it's actually Tolkien who wrote that. It still resonates just as strongly now as it did then. At that time in my life, I was in such a quarter-life crisis. I still am. But society throws all of these rules. This is how you're supposed to live your life. I've never been that way, and I've always lived unconventionally. This tattoo was really honoring the acceptance of that part of me. The fact that I'm not gonna be a 9-to-5 worker, and I'm not gonna have the white picket fence, and I'm gonna just follow what feels right for me, and that's okay. And that doesn't make me lost. It doesn't make me crazy. It makes me me, and that's awesome. But first and foremost, this is a Lord of the Rings tattoo. I love Lord of the Rings. I absolutely want to get another Lord of the Rings tattoo as well, someday. I think the most special thing for me having the tattoo is anytime someone stops me and we have this like instant connection, it just makes my day every time, and it happens all the time. And then many years went by. I was really poor for many years. So, you know, no tattoos for me. And then I planned my 6-month road trip. I was dead set on getting a tattoo on the trip. So before I left, I contacted maybe a dozen artists all over the country, different artists. I pitched different ideas because I like the idea of having multiple styles of tattoos. I have my pick of the litter. I might as well take advantage of the opportunity that I'm traveling and see if I can make any of these work out. Definitely not easy to do. I think traveling and getting tattoos, you need a lot of flexibility and a lot of money, but I pulled it off with Christel Perkins in Denver, Colorado at Leviathan Tattoo. Again, there is a full vlog all about it. I ended up booking the appointment for the last week of my travels. It just kind of fell into place, and she nailed it. So this is Spring Sprite. The general concept came from Fantasia 2000. The very last sequence, the Firebird Suite. The imagery was beautiful. I just really loved it. I loved her giant hair, and she's just this cute little fairy thing, and I always loved her. So what I did was I said, you know, this is the cartoon, but I want it done in the style of Audrey Kawasaki, who is a very famous artist, and this is what we did. I wanted the character to have realistic skin tone just because She is completely green-blue, and I've got some plants on the back that I love this part. Being that this was what I did on the last day of my 6-month road trip, was so therapeutic in a way. I'm so glad it worked out. Christel was incredible. 7 hours total. Go watch the vlog if you're curious to see the, step-by-step process. Pain-wise, I would rate this as a 6. Of course, being that I did sit for 7 hours, it was a very intense experience, but the pain wasn't necessarily that bad. When I got the tattoo, people asked what the meaning was, and ultimately, it was just this concept that I liked. If I wanted to kind of piece it apart, really honors my love for film, classical music, it honors my childhood, it honors my love for nature, but ultimately, the reason I got it was because it's a sick idea. That's her. Little spring sprite. So those are all my tattoos and piercings. Just to answer a couple other kind of random yet related questions. Do my parents like my tattoos or my piercings? No. Any future plans? Absolutely. I am ready to go get a cover-up tattoo. And then I also was supposed to go get a Friday the 13th tattoo in October. Unfortunately, last minute, it did not work out, but I still have every intention of looking into this every Friday the 13th until I finally get at least one. I want to make this a 3/4 sleeve, so I do want to get a tattoo here. This arm, I think I will reserve for minimalistic tattoos and line work. I am broke as a joke, so won't be getting tattooed for quite some time. As far as piercings go, again, I'm into a no piercing look at the moment, but that's what's so fun about piercings is you can get them and take them away very easily. The few piercings I've considered would be my septum, my labret, and my nipples. Stay tuned for my tattoo removal video and go and check out my half sleeve vlog as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all very soon. I love you guys.